John Lusk here of Lusk Archery Adventures. Series testing, successful hunting. Man, I've got two really cool heads to test here today. Two new ones from Iron Will. Iron Will has come out with a single bevel head, all right? And this is a 125 grain version. It's they've got a two blade and then also one with bleeders, okay? A four blade, both single bevels. So I'm gonna zoom on in here, go through some of the design features and specifications, and then put it through all the tests that I'm using for 2021. Here are the solid single bevels. Both of these are 125 grains. They both have a cutting diameter of 1 1/16 inches. This is the two blade at the bottom, but then this is a four blade. It has the bleeders. The bleeders add an extra 3/4 of an inch cut. And you notice that they're beveled as well to help in the rotation. The bevel angle of both of these is 32 degrees. The thickness of the blades is 0.062 inches thick. The ferrules are made out of a grade 5 titanium. And it's interesting, with all the Iron Wills that use that titanium ferrule, the blades are completely interchangeable. So you can interchange the double bevels, you can interchange the wide series, you can interchange them with any of the heads that use that titanium ferrule. The blades themselves are made out of an A2 tool steel. They're brought to a Rockwell hardness of 60, which is extremely hard. It allows them to get really, really sharp, a fine edge on them. But then, because it's a tool steel like that, and specifically with A2, it has an incredible resistance to impact. There's a scale called the Charpy V-notch score that measures a steel's resistance to impact. And the resistance to impact of these is about 3 times more than the resistance to impact of many stainless steels. It's 2.5 times greater resistance to impact than S30V, which is used by Solid Legends or by Day 6 broadheads. So it really is a superior steel. Now that's especially important with a single bevel because as the head rotates, there's a lot of pressure that's put on this leading edge in the rotation. And a lot of times you'll see in stainless steel models or carbon steel models, you'll see edge chatter or bumps or divots or dents that are in that leading edge as they hit a hard substance. But given the resistance to impact of this steel, that really should not be an issue. So I'm eager to put these to the test. I'm going to be testing them like I do for all my heads, for long distance flight, for edge sharpness and edge retention, for penetration, and for durability. Let's see how these single bevel solids perform. Bullseye. Here's the two heads at 70 yards, aiming for that lower left circle. And you can see they grouped really well. At least that's within my margin of error. Really great flying heads. For 2021, I'm going to make this edge retention test a bit more challenging. I'm not going to be testing out-of-the-box sharpness because literally every head I tested passed the push paper test out of the box. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be testing the edge retention by stroking an Easton Hex arrow shaft over it. I did that last year, but this year I'm going to do 10 strokes. So after every 2 strokes, I'm going to do a push paper test. First 2 strokes of the arrow. Three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, the Iron Will single bevel, cut paper after 10 strokes of the arrow. Without bleeders, penetrated 8 1/4 inches. With bleeders, penetrated 7 1/8 inches. The Iron Will single bevel with bleeders cut through the 54th layer. The iron wheel single bevel with no bleeders penetrated through the 56th layer. Both of the iron wheels rotated just about 40 degrees, almost identical rotation. Here you can see a really good look at the wound channel that's created by these single bevels. Here the two blade is just your classic S cut. Nice hole. And then here with the bleeders, man, you got a nice S cut going that way and then an S cut going that way as well. I'm really glad they made the bleeders single bevel as well because, man, that is a wicked looking wound channel right there. Wow. And as for the heads themselves, you see here in the two blade, you literally can't even tell it's been shot, let alone through steel plate. For this one with the bleeders, you know, it might have a bit more of a rotation. And as that, it looks like it got maybe a little bit more dinged up on the edges, but it's almost entirely cosmetic. It's really not much of anything. Here's the two blade. After 5 shots through the steel plate, spins extremely well. Here's the 4 blade. After being shot 5 times through the steel plate, you can see it spins perfectly well also. Man, it just embedded in that concrete and it went pretty deep into it as well. I'm going to try to take it out here without causing more damage to the broadhead. Man, it's really in there. I don't know if I've ever had one embed. Whoa, that was pretty cool. So here's the head after going through the concrete like that. And I'm going to clean that off before I spin test it. But man, you can see just as it is, the head's in really good shape. I mean, that tip did not curl at all. And it held up really well. Now, since, you know, with the concrete, it wouldn't get to the bleeders, I'm not going to test the one with the bleeders. It's the same head. So this is going to be sufficient. But I'll clean this off and then spin test it. I just cleaned this off with water and a sponge because I didn't want to do anything to the edge. But you can see it still spins extremely well. And the edge just held up very well. No rollover, even of the very tip. So what'd you think of the iron wheel single bevels? Man, I gotta tell you, I like these heads. I'm eager to test them out on an animal and see how they do. But in terms of the testing and everything that I did, they're proving to be a really fantastic head. Now, whether you want to go with the double bevel or the single bevel, that's up to you, and that's going to be debated for a long time. But I tell you what, if you're into single bevel heads, this is one that's really worth considering. Check out the score sheets. A great job, Iron Wheel.